Greetings Berserkers, FiOth here, and in this video I bring you my very first Greatsword build. I started playing Greatsword a couple of days ago on a stream and the hype was real. As you can see from this squeaky clean gameplay, the Greatsword is a weapon that focuses a lot on utilizing charge attacks, staying in the offensive and pulverizing the enemy with extreme damage and stagger. This build that I'm presenting here focuses 100% on being aggressive and not letting the enemy breathe. Once you get the basics of this down, the utilization of the pieces that we put together will only make the build more potent. The gameplay recorded here is me wearing pajamas actually, that is the Bard set, and I was able to find great success with it. The Bard set, of course, is a set that is not meant to optimize your combat prowess, is there for farming, except for a little thing about unscathed stamina recovery, but we're not gonna focus on that. We're gonna focus damage, offensiveness, and the ability to recover spirit in order to use as many of these devastating attacks and attack strings as possible. Without further ado, let's get to it. We will start with the gear, and this is a build that utilizes a legendary jar in order to be able to fit all the pieces together and get the bonuses we want out of each set that we're using. You don't need a legendary, you can go for an epic, but my advice is just get all the little jarlings, get one of the legendaries, the one that you prefer, and utilize this, because if you buy the lesser ones, they will be ultimately obsolete down the line. There's no reason for you to waste so much gold. So I'm using the most special jar. This gives an additional 10 strength, and we will start with our weapon. Our weapon will be the Lost Mage Greatsword, and we want this for one very specific reason. The Defector set allows you to accumulate spirit when you bring guard and when you use charged attacks, which is 99% of what we will be doing in this build. 1/3 of this spirit will be accumulated when you use anything that has a charge function. We're using Lost Mage Greatsword, and then we go into our ring, and we will use the Defector's ring. Now the Defector's ring, when it's epic, also gives you spirit accumulation increase 5%. This is not present if you're using a lesser category of gear. Of course it will be present if you use a higher one, let's say legendary, but I'm in New Game Plus and legendaries are very scarce still. So this is epic, gives spirit accumulation increase, and we absolutely want to use it. Then we go into accessory 2, and here I highly recommend you use a necklace of the Blood Moon. Because of the jar, we get the set bonus right away, 30% chance of receiving half damage. This is important because sometimes mid-charge, or if we lose our sequence, or if a stagger doesn't trigger for some reason on the beefier enemies, you might get hit. And because you will be charging something, that will be a counter hit on you. If you use this, at least you have a chance of avoiding getting the full damage. If you are super confident in your ability, you can go with a Cutthroat accessory here, Necklace of Strikes, that will improve your rear assault damage by 20%, very potent, but you will have to place yourself in a way that you'll be able to hit their backs 100% of the time. Not sure if that's very feasible, but it's up to you according to how comfortable you feel with the weapon itself. Now the 4 pieces of armor that we are allowed. We will go with a chest piece of Crimson Fiend and the Crimson Fiend pants. Wearing these 2 items with the jar will give us enraged damage increase 15%, that's where we expand a lot of stamina, and charge attack damage 10%. We want mostly the charge attack damage, but enrage comes in handy because as you chain together momentum strikes and mortal blows, you will expand stamina. So the lower your stamina gets below 50%, you will be triggering this 15% all the time. And that's just free damage, and we want it. Then we go Fallen Lord's Gauntlet. Although it is a spear set, mixing this with Fallen Lord's Shoes gives us charge attack damage 10% and Brink Dodge stamina recovery rate increase for 10 seconds. Brink dodging is nice. You might actually need to Brink dodge something and get this buff, but we want the 10% charge attack damage because this will actually make a huge ass difference. Remember guys, these are numbers games. The 10% that you see here is multiplicative of other things that are not entirely explained, but the damage will climb. So you want to get as many of these numbers stamina's in here as humanly possible. If you don't want to get the Bring Dodge stamina recovery, and you would prefer in the spirit of Crimson Fiend to get, let's say, Mortal Blow and Charge Attack 100 stamina recovery, be my guest, it's totally fine by me. The Crimson Fiend set is a lightweight, doesn't offer as much defense, and if you have around 48 to 50 plus strength, you will be in agility class A, even with heavyweight, but that is up to you. And of course it goes without question, if you want to be optimal about all this, you want to reroll it to get defense and frontal assault damage and all that. I don't bother rerolling up to this point because the level of the gear keeps climbing, I'm getting new stuff all the time, and just rerolling it and wasting a ton of resources makes zero sense to me. Couple of things about the gear pieces that we're using. The Crimson Fiend top gives us enraged stamina damage 5%. The pants give enraged stamina damage 5%. The gauntlets of the Fallen Lord give potent blow damage increase 5%, and the boots give potent blow damage 5%. So I didn't min-max them randomly, I used the optimal ones to get as much damage out of them as humanly possible. So I highly recommend you follow my lead here to reap the rewards. So let's go to the skill tree. My dual wield build was about 13 minutes long. I'll try to be more concise here because I understand that people are impatient. So for swift attack, we want Savage Momentum 100%. This is because if we use Savage Momentum, our attack counts as a charge attack, and then Overwhelm increases the charging speed of any damage of attacks change after the final attack of a swift attack or Savage Momentum. You will never be using swift attacks, forget about it, forget about tapping square or X on your controller. It's just gonna be Savage Momentum, and then we go into Mortal Blow, put 3 points here, Nescence and Bloodshed. This is amazing. The Mortal Blow will charge that much faster, and the sequence you want to follow here is going to Savage Momentum, then Mortal Blow, and then a fully charged Potent Strike. Talking about Potent Strike, Manifest Power, ignore Ghost Arm, we're not using it, Giant Hunt, 3 points, and then also use Giant Hunt Leap. This ties very nicely with the Lost Mage's Greatsword that gives us a fixed attribute of Giant Hunt damage 15%. So of course we're gonna use Giant Hunt, also great for huge creatures. Then go Spirit Boost, Limit Break, and 3 points in Phantom Knight's Veil. I love this ability, it's insane. If you charge it, it deals a shitload of damage and also staggers like crazy. So you always want to be able to expand a couple of spirits on this to keep the stagger going. Now for Unbreakable, Overrun, and God, we want Heat of Battle, Indomitable, Heavy Pressure, Inner Fury, probably what ties this whole build together, and its upgrade, Inner Fury Swift. What it does is it allows you to charge your attacks faster for 15 seconds after you initiate this ability. Granted, you also get a lot of damage from the damaging aftershocks. This means it will trivialize the time needed to charge a potent blow after our string of momentum into mortal blow into potent blow. So you want these in order to make your string as viable as possible and avoid getting interrupted by enemy attacks. In Overrun, take 3 dodge stamina, 1 Helm Break, 1 Helm Break Onslaught. This is insanely good because what you can do with this is run, use Helm Break, and then use a fully charged potent and go into a 2-attack string that, because of the damage of your charged potent, will clear the small enemies pretty much in one hit. It is super powerful for general gameplay. Finishing over, Extreme Dodge and Seething Blood, which will enhance what you get out of your dodges. Gain increased stamina recovery rate for 5 seconds after a successful Brink Dodge. This effect does not stack with the effects of Stolid Stance, and then enhance the increased stamina recovery rate effects of Extreme Dodge and Stolid Stance. Very, very good, and will affect your stamina recovery immensely. Now, for God, Avenger, of course 100%, Defense Stamina 3, Defense Spirit 3, Armor Breaker, which is an amazing counter, one of the best in the game, 3 points in Heart Piercer. Now for the commons here on the left, resources, fill this whole thing up. And although this might seem a bit redundant, Reviving Spirit, it is super important for your ease of mind and overall availability of spirit. It goes without question, guys, when you want to go in a battle as prepared as possible, you want all the spirit that you can expand. And because this build focuses so much on spirit, starting with full spirit is pretty much self-explanatory. Get reviving spirit and you will not be disappointed. Now just grab what you see here. The only things I don't focus on brutal attack is descent, which is just for show, and spirit from backstabbing brutals. I prefer a rip in order to heal. Everything on the javelin, everything on counterattack, and after you get death's denial, get reinforce 3 here to be able to get those charged katana blows out with as much damage as possible. If all goes well and you don't get up being slaughtered whilst in phantom form, you can easily get 2 of these out before your timer runs out. This is not a phantom form build, so it goes without question that we're not focusing too heavily on this. Now our spirit is Wolfric the Resilient. Super good spirit for frontal assault damage and the ability to utilize your guarding stance and counter attacks in order to get additional bonuses and additional spirit. It's not set in stone. If you don't want to use Wolfric, you might want to use Keshta for the stamina, but Wolfric really brings in the pain and I highly recommend it. So this is it, Berserkers, my first Greatsword build for late game and new game plus. I guarantee great results if you can get the rhythm of this, and enemies and bosses will fall before you like bags of poo-poo. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more Khazan. I'm covering everything in the game. Until next time, be well, stay frosty, and always strive for perfection. Cheers!